2021 was a good year at the Grove. There were some new winners topping the charts. There was some history made with some of the older names as well. And generally speaking, it was just kind of a fun year to follow along with the PA posse. Now more than ever, it seems that people need an excuse to escape real life. And obviously, your Friday nights can be spent with sprint cars, which is a pretty darn good substitute to doing something proper and important. There were 31 scheduled programs for the 2021 racing series at Williams Grove Speedway. We lost 8 of them to weather, but we still got together a lot of really great results and performances, and we can go through a month-by-month analysis here tonight and talk about the entire racing season. The show starts off in March, specifically March 14th, aka Pi Day, was the beginning of the season. There were 32 drivers who showed up for the first race of the season. It included full-timers like Freddie Ramer and Lance Deweese, along with some people we don't normally see at the Grove. George Hobaugh and the Mackesons don't run the full season. Justin Peck and Hunter Schurenberg were also present, as they are all-star drivers who were looking for a couple races to get their season underway. Got to work that track in at the start of the season, and the working of the track went well for Freddie Ramer as he took home the first checkered flag of the season, picking up right where he left off with his 2020 championship. He was followed to the line by Justin Peck, a all-star team out of the local area, and Lance Deweese rounded out the podium in his first race of the season, attempting to go for number 100 in his racing career. 3 of the first 5 attempted events were canceled due to weather at the Williams Grove this year, and week number 2 was the first of these with a rain out on March 19th. March 26th was able to get the show on the road as we saw Justin Peck take his first win of the year in the number 13 machine. That team, as I said, out of the local area, just waiting for the All-Star Circuit of Champions schedule to get rolling. TJ Stutz and Chase Dietz rounded out the podium. Dietz with a strong effort in the Tro number 39. And TJ Stutz, even being present for all 22 races, this was the only podium for TJ Stutz of the season and only one of 2 for Chase Dietz. Kind of surprising for both of them, but both still had very strong seasons. This was the end of the first month of racing, and as I said previously, looking at a month-by-month analysis, here is the top 10 statistically most successful drivers of the March racing season, being the only 2 races, were Justin Peck up at the top of the board with 2 top 3s. Freddie Ramer had won the first event of the season as well. TJ Stutz, very solid performances in his first 2 entries, and Chase Dietz with a great start with the Tro number 39 for the year. With those statistics in mind for the first month of the season, that momentum was taken into the second month of racing, which was April. April 2nd was canceled due to cold temperatures, and April 9th was a rain out, making that the first 2 weeks of April being canceled and no racing. April 16th, finally the show got on the road as the All-Star Circuit of Champions came to town to host the Tommy Hinnershitz Classic. Lots of great talent came to town, and lo and behold, of course, the winner of this race would be the guy who seems to win almost every race he enters with these cars. Kyle Larson took the victory ahead of Lance Deweese and Freddie Ramer on the podium. Ian Madsen and Anthony Macri made up the top 5, and Tony Stewart made his only appearance of the season, and he finished 6th place with his own number 14 machine. 29 drivers showed up the next week on April 23rd, and it was a pretty feel-good week as Lucas Wolf brought home his first win of the season. Justin Peck and Freddie Ramer also on the podium with him, making Freddie a third-place finisher in both of the 2 races that were held in April, as April 30th, the following week, was canceled due to high winds, which actually ended up doing a little bit of small damage to the track facilities, but canceled the event. Another month gone by, 5 weekends in the books with only 2 races, but at the end of it, here is the rundown on the top 10 best drivers of the month. I think it's pretty clear Freddie Ramer attempted both races and got podiums in each of them. Kyle Larson went 1 for 1, so obviously very strong by him as well. Lucas Wolf, Anthony Macri, and Justin Peck rounded out the top 5 statistically best drivers of April, and that moves into the great month of May. So April showers bring May flowers, but May started off on the 7th with a rain-out event, which was followed then by the Morgan Cup, which brought the World of Outlaws to town for 2 back-to-back events. Obviously, a strong rivalry between the Outlaws and Posse. Night number 1 and night number 2 both went to the World of Outlaws team, as on May 14th, Carson Macedo took the checkered flag with the number 41 for Jason Johnson Racing. Lance Deweese came home in second, and Brent Marks was able to round out the top 3. Lance still looking for number 100 and fell just short to the very strong number 41 car, which would stay strong throughout the entirety of the season at Williams Grove, or at least at the attempts to race thereof. Night number 2 saw the Roth 83 come home first, and that was won by, at the time, Aaron Reitzel driving that car. He was later caught for cheating and was released from that ride, but he did get the victory at Williams Grove just ahead of Gio Scelzi, one of the more favorites of the non-local drivers at the track, and Lance Deweese charging all the way from the rear of the field to end up on the podium in third spot at the end of the night. History was made for the 410s at Williams Grove on May 21st, as for the first time ever, a driver surpassed 100 wins, and that was Lance Deweese in the Kreitz Racing number 69K. He led Danny Dietrich and Jeff Halligan to the line at the end of the local show through the help of car owner Don Kreitz and crew chief mechanic, just kind of the guy, I guess you could say, Davey Brown. Lance Deweese was able to take that victory and end off the month right where he wanted to, as here is the top 10 rundown of drivers in May. Lance Deweese obviously at the top with a lot of very strong performances that ended up getting him win number 100. Held on strong to a charging field of non-locals. Aaron Reitzel and Carson Macedo round out the top 3. Kerry Madsen had gone with the PA Posse at the start of the season, and he was in 4th place in the rankings for May. James McFadden in the top 5 as well. Very strong performances by some of those teams that weren't necessarily in the championship hunt the entire season with the World of Outlaws, but were strong at the Grove. June was only plagued by one canceled event. It was not the first, it was rather the second event of the month. The first race was held on the 4th, and it was won by Justin Whittle, who brought home his first ever 410 feature win. Only 17 cars came out, but still a strong field. Kyle Moody ended the night in second, which was one of his highest performances of the season. Not a ton of necessarily outstanding performances, but a lot of very consistent and strong performances from one of only 4 drivers to run all season long. At the track, Danny Dietrich came home in 3rd. The second race on the 11th was canceled, as that was a rain-out event, and then it went right into June 18th, which was where Lance Deweese was able to bring home his second win of the season. This race was held in conjunction with a Silver Crown event, therefore I was present for this. I got to watch Alan Crimes run a very strong performance in the Stuart Smith Racing number 27S and come home in second. I thought that was a very great performance by what I believe is the best-looking car of the year. Anthony Macri got his first podium of the season as well in his 39M car with a 3rd-place run. The last race of June was the first race of PA Speed Week, and that race was won by Lance Deweese. Anthony Macri was able to follow up his 3rd-place finish the week prior with a 2nd, and Danny Dietrich came home in 3rd, the eventual winner of PA Speed Week. A lot of different drivers, some traveling names who came out to race the PA Speed Week Championship were present, but the top 3 of the event were still all Posse. That rounded out June. Lance Deweese, the strongest driver for the month, obviously. Anthony Macri, very strong as well. He comes in 2nd place statistically. Alan Crimes with a great run, as well as Danny Dietrich and Freddie Ramer rounding out the top 5. 5 races held in July at the track, 2 of which were World of Outlaws events. The first, being July 2nd, was the second showing of PA Speed Week at Williams Grove Speedway. This race was also won by Lance Deweese as he swept both of the events for the PA Speed Week Championship. Danny Dietrich came home in 2nd place. Justin Peck rounded out the top 3. The following week, June 9th, was a rainout, but it did lead into the World of Outlaws tune-up on July 16th, which was just the Posse getting ready to go for the Summer Nationals the coming week. That race was won by Freddie Ramer. Lucas Wolf and Lance Deweese rounded out the top 3. A pretty strong showing by the guy who finished 6th in the feature, Skylar G., a traveling name out of Canada, with other notables such as Chase Dietz and Matt Campbell in the top 10 at the end of the race. All right, July 23rd and 24th, it's Summer Natties, baby. 2 races in the weekend. I got to attend the second. July 23rd was the Friday show. That race was won by Sheldon Haudenschild in the NOS Energy number 17, so that's chalked up to the World of Outlaws crew, with Lance Deweese and James McFadden rounding out the podium in that event as well. Lance Deweese trying to charge on at the end of the race, just could not quite catch up to Sheldon. Night number 2 was a pretty stellar show, I must say. Brent Marks was the winner of the event, able to capitalize on a late race caution, where he was able to take the lead from the eventual runner-up Sheldon Haudenschild. Donnie Schatz rounded out the podium after he had led some of the beginning stages of the race, and it was his first podium. One of those World of Outlaw guys who's usually pretty strong at the racetrack. Carson Macedo and Lance Deweese, two other names who have been very strong at the track in 2021, rounded out the top 5. The return to the PA Posse scene was York County Racing Club night on July 30th, and that was won by a York County driver, a guy who had been strong in performances with the World of Outlaws and with the PA Speed Weeks shows, had yet to break through. Finally, in the Premier AutoWorks number 21, Matt Campbell took the victory and got himself a checkered flag for the season. Lance Deweese and Danny Dietrich rounded out the top 3 in that show as well, and that rounded out the month of July with strong performances by a couple guys who had been very strong throughout the entire season so far. And as shown, the top 10 rundown for the month of July had Lance Deweese at the top, Sheldon Haudenschild with 2 very strong performances on his end. Brent Marks, Donnie Schatz, and Danny Dietrich rounded out the top 5 best drivers throughout the 5 races in July. August had 3 races scheduled for the month, and it started on the 6th with a breakthrough victory, a very awesome sight to see for a lot of people rooting for a young kid new to the Pennsylvania Posse scene. Devin Borden was able to take home his first checkered flag of his 410 career in Pennsylvania with the number 27 for Mike Hefner. He led the 69K of Lance Deweese to the line with Chase Dietz in the Trone Racing 39, rounding out the podium in his second third-place run of the season. August 14th was taken off in observance of the Knoxville Nationals, and they came back to race on August 20th, where Anthony Macri broke through and got his first win at the Grove in 410 competition. He led Lance Deweese to the line as well, so Lance went 2 for 2 on second-place finishes into the month of August. Landon Myers was able to make a standout performance and get a third-place run in the 19M. August 27th ended up being a rain-out event, meaning only 2 shows were counted towards the month of August, and led to a short but interesting list of the top 10 statistically best drivers of the month. Obviously, Lance Deweese, number 1, with 2 second-place finishes. Devin Borden and Anthony Macri made up the top 3 with their victories. Chase Dietz, Landon Myers, Dylan Norris, Tyler Ross, Aaron Bollinger, Freddie Ramer, Doug Hamaker make up one of the more intriguing groups of drivers to make a top 10 in a month. 25 drivers rolled off for the first race of September. This was the Todd Schaefer Tribute Race, and it was won by Brent Marks in the number 19. Danny Dietrich and Lance Deweese got into the podium spots with him. As they rolled into the Dirt Classic qualifier, preparation for the Dirt Classic in the central Pennsylvania area with the All-Star Circuit of Champions, and that race was won by Anthony Macri, going 2 in 3 weeks with Lance Deweese and Brent Marks on the podium as well. Chase Dietz and Danny Dietrich make up that top 5. 25 drivers made an appearance on September 24th as an invader got the best of the posse. Brian Brown, a.k.a. Brownie, brought his Casey's General Stores number 21 into victory lane for the first time in his career at the Speedway. Devin Borden, with another excellent performance in the number 27, came home second, and Gio Selzy was able to pull a third-place performance out of September, and that rounded out the last full month of racing, as October was only led by the National Open with the World of Outlaws. As shown here, Lance Deweese, number 1 once again, with Anthony Macri, Brian Brown, Brent Marks, and Danny Dietrich making up the top 5 for September. Into October, as I said, 1 weekend, 2 races. The World of Outlaws for the National Open was led with the race on the 1st of October, and that was won by Kyle Larson, who was present. Logan Schuchart, very strong, had the lead at the beginning of the race, just couldn't hold Kyle Larson back. Donnie Schatz rounded out the top 3 in the podium, and Anthony Macri got 4th place as the highest-ranking posse driver. October 2nd was held on Saturday night, and that race was won by Carson Macedo, very strong once again with the Jason Johnson Racing, number 41. Logan Schuchart had another great night and rounded out second again. Sheldon Haudenschild got the 3rd and final podium spot, and Anthony Macri finished 4th, being the top posse driver and making a 3-peat of 4th place finishes at the track. For October, 2 entries, 2 top 3s. Logan Schuchart, number 1 on the rankings. Donnie Schatz, Kyle Larson, Carson Macedo, and Anthony Macri make up the top 5 in the 2 races, single weekend that made up the month of October. The final rundown on points for the year had Lance Deweese win the championship pretty substantially over Freddie Ramer in second with the 51. Anthony Macri got 2 wins, and he brought home 3rd place with Danny Dietrich in 4th, and TJ Stutz rounding out the top 5 in points, having run his own 11 car and the Barshinger Racing number 24. In conclusion, it was a fun year, a lot of really great stuff, some history with Lance Deweese getting win 100 and then going on an absolute tear throughout the summer. Seeing Anthony Macri win his first race, Devin Borden as well. Matt Campbell winning with the 21 car was really awesome, as well as Justin Whittle getting his first win at the track. Makes things pretty interesting going into 2022. We'll see how much we see of the 69K if they decide to go full-time again. Freddie Ramer going to be with Rich Eichelberger in the number 8 machine next year, and presumably we will see Anthony Macri back in the 39M as well. For those who may not be able to attend the races on a regular basis or maybe afar, this is not a plug, but I do recommend Dirt Vision. They do follow the weekly racing at Williams Grove with live broadcasts through their subscription service. I've been able to use the service to keep up with all the great racing while I was away as well. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed this analysis of the season and kind of looked at the month-by-month running of every driver at the track. Looking forward to getting back out to the racetrack. Gonna have some dirt in the beer again. It's gonna be a good time running around with the posse. Take care. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.